All right, we'll call to order the regular meeting of the Allegheny School Board of Directors. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We were in executive session on 6 to 7 for personnel matters. Cody, roll call.
Mrs. Shannon Bates Sable. Here. Mrs. Kennard. Here. Mr. Meredith.
Here.
Mr. Pusey.
Here.
Mr. Zabinda.
Here.
Ms. Thomas. Here. Mr. Trout.
Here.
Mr. Yusko.
Here.
Mr. Zilber.
Here.
Mr. DiVicente.
Here.
Who is absent. Myself. Mr. Cabot. Dr. Thomas Chesapeake.
Not doctor yet.
Sorry, Mr. So here, Dr. Michael Toll.
Here.
That's what I was thinking of. Mr. George Little.
Here.
Dr. R.J. Long.
Present, now doctorated.
Mr. Brian Farrick.
Here.
Mr. Devin, excuse me. Mr. Devin Milborn.
Here.
It's been a minute. We want to start with the curriculum process.
Sean, you want to do your presentation? Yeah, you want to. You're good director. It's entirely up to you. I don't know how to. Okay, we can go HDMI, USB-C is Mike Tool and I did the other day.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll pull it up for you. You need an adapter. We might not, but let's see. Is that what it is? I can grab mine. Yeah, you want to get it? Yeah. I'll back you up, Sean.
That logo takes no prisoners there, Dr. Long.
Oh, I know.
Yes, sir.
That should work.
All right, so the curriculum office of mine has been pretty busy over the last couple of months. I essentially was able to start in late May and then hit the ground running in June and July. So I wanted to share with you some of the goals that I've put together, what I've been working on through June and July, and then the vision that I developed in collaboration with the administrative team moving forward, and then open it up for any questions that you might have. So the first priority that I have is certainly communicating the vision of curriculum instruction and assessment for the district. I've reviewed many documents and Google Drives, and there's been a lot of work in the curriculum space, honestly, over the past few years. Like I said, we have over 300 curriculum documents in EdInsight right now, but it doesn't seem like there's really any practical manifestation implementation of those curriculum documents in practice. Like I said during the interview process, and I maintain this strongly now, curriculum infrastructure should be based on assessments. And so I really want to build out an assessment-based curriculum infrastructure moving forward. We have great tools like Acadians for basic skills and numeracy and literacy. We have MAP assessment systems that we can deploy as well. And then PDE has free assessment systems like the CDT assessment system and the new Firefly diagnostic assessment system that we're going to be looking at implementing in the near future. I want us to engage in a confrontation of current practice. This is going to be really essential in supporting the high school's CSI plan and by extension, the work of the faculty at Logan as well. In looking at the course grades students are receiving compared to their achievement outcomes on PSSA and Keystone assessments, there's substantial discrepancies there. And then that speaks to the third goal of designing a coherent assessment system. I know that the CSI plan includes a push to have assessments based on standards so that kids' course grades reflect their academic progress in a standards-aligned way. And that certainly is a goal that I have shared with the high school and Logan. So in June, we looked at the supplemental resources that the district currently subscribes to. You have core instructional materials that are like textbooks and you know the basic materials that faculty use in courses across grade levels, and then you have all of these supplemental materials that the district has subscribed to. When I looked at the software subscriptions for the educational side of the house for the 24-25 academic year, it was almost $200,000. Now, some of those are locked in multi-year contracts and for major things like our NWBA math contract, but other things include platforms like BrainPop and Edpuzzle. And so I've sent emails out to the faculty about their implementation and usage, and we're really pulling back on a lot of those supplemental instructional resources. The social studies materials have been shipped. You guys budgeted over $100,000 for that last wave of social studies materials, but after we looked at enrollment, we only ended up needing to spend about $64,000 on those materials. And then consumables. The elementary school, of course, goes through a lot of consumable instructional materials, and we found that rather than sourcing them through the publisher and getting them from Amazon, we're going to save substantial amounts of money. And so that philosophy extends forward into the science materials. Open SciEd is a set of science curricula that the elementary and middle grades have been piloting and adopting over the last year. I was able to put together materials lists sourced from Amazon for the Open SciEd units that saved about 2/3 the cost of what the publisher would charge for those kits. We held a successful leadership retreat with the administrative team and started putting together a professional learning plan in conjunction with the Allegheny Intermediate Unit. Their math and science collaborative is hosting workshops for schools in CSI status. And so thank you for revising the school year calendar, because that's allowing us to get all of our professional development days in line with when those math workshops are. And then I was able to collaborate with the reading administrators of the IU so that the faculty will all engage in half a day of a math workshop and then half a day of reading and literacy workshop on those dates. So the developing vision, and this of course is going to be shared out, it has been shared with the admin team during our leadership retreat and will be shared out with the faculty during back to school in-service. The first component is that assessment-based curriculum infrastructure. Certainly, I want to make sure that our kids have the basic numeracy and literacy skills that they need to be successful, so we're going to use the Acadians, it's a DIBELS-based assessment system to track progress in that respect. Acadians, like I said, is super powerful. We just need to be using it better. Right, at the bare minimum is to administer 3 benchmark assessments throughout the academic year, but truly, you can administer those assessments on a weekly basis for progress monitoring purposes. So working with Mike, we're going to really make sure that that assessment system and the title teachers and the general ed faculty are being used effectively in that regard. And so that assessment-based curriculum infrastructure extends all the way from those basic foundational literacy and numeracy skills to more synthetic project-based assessments that the faculty are going to be designing throughout this upcoming academic year. And I've included additional details in my board report too, with linked documents in case you're interested in looking at any of these things in greater detail. The second component is, of course, professional learning. We focused a lot on the science of learning during our administrative retreat and talked about what research-based best practices actually look like. And that, of course, is going to extend to the faculty. And then establishing feedback loops is going to be essential too. We put together a calendar for instructional planning rounds at Logan and the high school. So the principals, the supervisors will establish goals with the teachers and then report back. And we'll go through that process on a bi-monthly basis. So, like I said, we've dug a lot into research-based best practices. I'm happy to share any of those with you if you have questions to follow up. The first is something known as deep curriculum alignment. Like I said, we have a lot of curriculum in the district. It's just frayed and all over the place. So what has been done is a process known as diary mapping or front-loading the curriculum design process, where teachers essentially just write out what they do throughout the academic year. That is certainly, I think, the most popular and typical approach to curriculum development, but I don't think it's effective. And research suggests that it's especially not effective in contexts like ours at East Allegheny. So what we're going to do again is base the curriculum infrastructure on assessments. We're going to look at released items from the PSSA and Keystone exams. We're going to compare those to the assessments teachers are using in their classrooms. And we're going to look at gaps between those expectations, standards-based expectations for PSSA and Keystone, and what's actually showing up in classrooms. We know a lot about the science of learning, especially from the last 2 or 3 decades of research in cognitive and behavioral psychology. And so as we engage in those instructional planning rounds, and I and the principals get into teachers' classrooms, we want to see those best practices show up and be reinforced. And then the last box there is talking about a series of thousands of meta-analyses that a researcher out of Australia named Hattie has run. And we know what works best in classrooms. There's research out there that talks about, for example, exit ticket is not an effective way to reinforce learning. Rather than having a teacher do an exit ticket at the end of the lesson, having the teacher do an entry ticket the next day to review the previous day's lesson is much more effective. And I think if we focus on those real, tangible, immediate shifts in people's practice, we're going to see improvements in student learning outcomes. The goalposts are straightforward. They're black and white. They're just really hard to find and pull together, which is, part of my responsibilities for us. So like I said earlier, we're going to focus on release items. I've put together a database of all the release items for the PSSA and Keystone exam and linked them to the standards that they're assessing, so that if teachers at a particular grade level and in the subject area say, well, historically we've underperformed in this particular skill or concept, they can go to this database and pull assessment items out rather easily. We're going to look at the standards. That's going to start during our back to school in-service PD days. I'm going to have faculty look at release items, look at the standards that they assess, look for the boundaries, the lower and upper boundaries of that standard at a particular grade level. And then the last is something new. sort of, at particular grade levels to East Allegheny curriculum-based measures. Acadience, that assessment system, assesses curriculum-based measures like fluency in reading words per minute, for example. And so we're going to expand that right now. For some reason, kindergarten, first grade, and second grade were the only grades using Acadience, even though we have a district license for that software tool. So we're going to expand the use of Acadience, certainly up through fifth grade and potentially sixth grade for some settings. I wanted to call out the professional learning plan in broad strokes here, just so that you can get a sense of how it's structured. It really is grounded in teachers' practice through those instructional planning rounds that the principals and I will establish on a bi-monthly basis. So we're going to start by setting goals, and at the beginning of the year, those goals are going to be very much based in fluency and automaticity. Can an 8-year-old solve multi-digit subtraction problems, so many within a particular minute? And as we start to establish that really black and white foundation of fundamental skills, we're going to build out so that those learning outcome goals are more synthetic and holistic. I'm going to be pushing in and doing a lot of grade and content-specific meetings with grade levels and departments, and that's going to give a really specific audience to focus on the alignment of classroom-based assessments and standards-aligned assessments like PSSA and Keystone. And then, of course, we have a bunch of school-based professional learning going on. The principals have been and will continue to develop and design that. We're collaborating with the intermediate unit, like I said, in regards to reading and math. And then we, thankfully, thanks to you, have the district PD days that give us an opportunity to tie things together at a higher level. And that's it. Feedback or questions? I know curriculum is allegedly something that a lot of you are concerned about.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think, that plan, I will be honest with you, it's perhaps curriculum plan in a while. So I appreciate that very much.
Of course. Yeah. And I'm happy to geek out too with different curriculum assessment stuff. If you have questions, I'm here.
Maybe after some of those PDs, the professional staff, you could share back with us kind of the progress of the professional staff towards those goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
In addition, and I want to thank you, Sean, excellent job. In addition, the assessment-based infrastructure model allows for that reporting to also take place at the student performance level. And as reviewed by building leadership, and then as an admin team, we will be unpacking all of that together. So that's what's really nice, and that's information that we can share as well. As our kids undoubtedly will grow from greater structure, we'll be able to know where and to which degree, and tie that into our instructional methods and several of the other things you mentioned. Thank you.
Certainly.
Thank you.
I need a motion approving the regular meeting minutes from June 9th, 2025.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Need a motion approving the special meeting minutes of June 16th, 2025.
Move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. And I need a motion approving the special meeting minutes from July 10th, 2025.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Oh, do we have any questions on admin reports?
Oh. Nope, I'm good this month. Superintendent report, Joseph.
Thank you, Mr. Savinda. I will say, even though there were no questions from the admin reports, I want to thank our administrative team and give them some necessary kudos for the work that we've been doing as we gear up for what promises to be another exciting school year for East Allegheny. Dr. Mike Toll, for instance, he hits 3 weeks tomorrow. We were just talking about that fact today. No time like the present. Done a lot of work to get Logan's schedule and many, many other things up and running as you're learning all the contextual pieces. And that's just one example. I know through building walkthroughs, through collaborative sessions, we're hard at work to plan, but very eager for students, teachers, and staff to get here so that we could see some of that in action, and they're the ones that make it happen on our behalf. So very excited for that. So with that, we're excited to welcome our teachers back this week. That happened already somehow. We're going to see teachers on Friday. The following Wednesday, August 20th, we welcome back our East Allegheny Wildcat students. I also want to extend a welcome to our new teachers who, we are looking forward to supporting you. I know we've created some new support systems and structures administratively to be able to get regular feedback in order to ensure your East Allegheny experience is tailored to your needs and that it's helpful to you where you are in your career. I want to welcome the aforementioned Dr. Mike Toole, Mr. Devin Milborn officially for the outset of the new year, and Mr. Sean Tomaszewski as they begin the school year with us in their new roles, and also Ms. Jen Costello starting her new role as Director of Student Services. We're very excited for the scope of her new role. As Sean referenced in his report, his presentation, we had a 3-day administrative retreat in July, and it was particularly enlightening from the standpoint of we went to different sites in the Mon Valley. We were at the Carnegie Library of Homestead, we were at Braddock's Battlefield History Center, and we were at Mill 19 in Hazelwood Green. We were doing that strategically to look at our region and where it's been and what opportunities exist currently now, as one of the things that moves us as an administrative team in the presence of our students is to ensure that their futures are sound as they are with us for the 13 years that encompass K to 12, and then they're in these Mon Valley communities. And we know that historically our region has suffered and it has had loss of industry, and we believe that our kids possess an awesome capacity to learn, grow, and succeed. And it's up to us to kickstart the growth of that skill set. And we take that responsibility on. We look it in the eye, and it's quite an opportunity. And I think the retreat really reinforced that. While we had a learning experience that went beyond our classroom, so to speak. I know a lot of teachers are having their flex days, and I want to thank you all for your flexibility and wish the entire EA community an excellent start to the school year. Our rebranding efforts are in full swing as we incrementally integrate our new logo across campus and within the buildings, and that is matching our mindsets for providing East Allegheny with a new approach, a fresh approach to receiving the best education possible. Speaking of a refresh, we have new stadium lights, phase 1 of our Churchman Stadium project. And if everything goes according to plan, when you walk out the meeting this evening, you should see the new lights on. I'm gonna assume that Duquesne Light's working with us here. That at 7:30, we should have a Let There Be Light situation unfolding. And then, as you know from our recent robocall, we're gonna have a Thursday night lights, a Thursday football team practice under the lights, starting at 6, but at 8 p.m. our new lights will go on. I know our football players and coaches are extremely excited to kick that off. Continuing with the refresh, I want to thank Ms. Marae Mobley from the AIU. She is our communications specialist. She's in attendance this evening. She has been doing a stellar job on the website refresh. An excellent story writer, getting out and meeting our new administrators, but also with layout, form, and function. We're getting a lot of positive feedback, so I want to thank you. For that, back to school night. We're doing a different style of back to school event. We're going to roll that in to the teacher in-service days in the first week of school. So from 5 to 7 p.m. on Monday, a week from tonight, that is the 18th, we're going to have our back to school events. I know we have a planning team working in concert with building leadership to build out quite an affair, and I know some more communication pieces will follow this week. We will also be continuing our Bella Terra Thrive program, which partners with a wonderful community institution and their horse stables in the eastern suburbs to provide programming for our kids. And 2 other acknowledgements. I want to acknowledge the naval officer among our team. That is Mr. Sean Tomaszewski. I had the pleasure in participating in an awesome event with Sean that was offered by the employer support of the Guard and Reserve. We got to take a ride in a C-17 Globemaster aircraft at the 9/11 airlift wing. It was a tremendous experience, an opportunity to see that our reservists, which comprise the largest portion of our armed forces, what they're able to do, what they're able to operate and protect us. And as a school district, we're proud not to only offer Sean support, who's on staff with us, but anyone who fulfills this tremendous duty to our country. And I signed the documents that we're an official employer supporter of the Guard and Reserve. And last but not least, and I don't know if he knows this is coming, but we had a major milestone for one of our board members. He started in 2015, which he loves numbers, so that's a 10-year anniversary for Mr. John Sabinda. So John, if you would come and receive your PSBA plaque, and hooray, if you would get a picture of us, make us both stay fresh. Look at that, a decade, that's a gold ribbon.
I want together, show the certificate of their awesomeness.
There we go.
Oh, that's good.
All right, and that's what I got.
All right. I need a motion to hear from the citizens.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. We have to close. Need a motion to resume the regular order of business.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Any communications?
Not this evening. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, thank you. Before we go to the agenda, we are tabling budget finance E. Finance E will be tabled this evening. I need a motion to approve the agenda in toto.
So moved.
Sorry.
Any exceptions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion passes. We got our federal programs working. And we have any old business? Any new business? Motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Meeting adjourned.
I did that. I'm gonna work.